The day the last humans stopped running and turned to face our fleet, the galaxy learned a truth no empire had survived long enough to teach. A human with nothing left to lose is still not the most dangerous thing in the room. I am scholar-observer Talrin of the Vane Conquered, and I was there when Earth died. By then, the Conquered had ruled 9 spiral arms for 11,000 cycles. We had ended the bone wars of the cruel. We had silenced the sun singers of Ith. We had taught 100 species the same lesson. Order is mercy, and resistance is waste. Even the proudest civilizations bent eventually. They always did. Humans were supposed to be no different. Primitive by our standards, short-lived, emotionally unstable, brilliant in bursts but hopelessly divided. Their ships were ugly things, patched hulls, overclocked drives, weapons built with more courage than elegance. They fought like storms, loud, reckless, temporary. And yet, there was a rule in every conquered war college. It was never written on the walls, but every commander knew it. If humans begin evacuating children, leave the system. No one ever explained why. So when Earth burned under orbital fire and the last defense ring collapsed into a halo of molten debris, we thought the rule had finally broken with them. Their fleets were gone. Their cities were ash. Their signals had thinned to static and prayer. Then, one small vessel emerged from the smoke of the planet. Not attacking, fleeing. And our high commander smiled. That was his first mistake. The vessel was ancient even by human standards. Registry markings half melted, one engine failing, heat bleeding from its flank. Our scanners named it a medical transport, modified for long-range flight. Hardly a warship, hardly a threat. We hailed it once, twice. Then we cut across its course with the cruiser Sarn Vek. Human craft, the commander announced, his voice rolling across the bridge. Your species is extinct. Power down and prepare for boarding. For a moment, nothing answered, only static. Then a face appeared on the central screen. Male, human. Blood crusted across one temple, one eye swollen shut. His shoulders shook with exhaustion. He looked less like a warrior than a corpse that had forgotten to fall. Negative, he said. Just that. One word. The commander laughed. So did some of the bridge crew. I remember feeling embarrassed for the human. This, I thought, was the last spark of a failed species, one broken father trying to outrun history. Then our scans picked up a second life sign aboard his ship. Small, weak, juvenile, a child. The command deck quieted. Turn over the passenger, our commander said. You'll be processed with dignity. The human looked down, as if listening to someone below the camera. When he raised his head again, something had changed. The exhaustion was still there. So was the blood. But behind it sat a terrible calm. No, he said again. You don't understand who I'm buying time for. And then he cut his own engines, not to surrender, to turn. His ship drifted broadside to our cruiser, helpless by every measure we respected. Weapons cold, shields nearly gone, hull fractures spreading like cracks in ice. The commander ordered the boarding teams forward. That was when the first cruiser vanished. Not exploded. Vanished. One blink it was there. The next, it was a ring of glowing fragments spiraling into black. No impact alarm, no weapon signature, no energy bloom, just absence, followed a heartbeat later by a shockwave that slapped against our hull, hard enough to throw officers from their stations. Panic spread through the bridge in the ugly animal way panic always does. What did he fire? From where? How is that possible? But what our commander did not know, what none of us knew, was that this was not humanity's first extinction. Buried in their archives, hidden beneath art, lullabies, and nonsense broadcasts, humanity had kept old doctrines from darker centuries. Fail-safes, dead man weapons, machines that answered to codes no sane species would ever create, much less trust to a dying man. The human ship transmitted a burst on frequencies older than our language models. Across the ruined orbit of Earth, debris began to move. Broken satellites, civilian transports, mining rigs, hospital stations, thousands of dead machines ignited at once, not as ships, but as a swarm, a cloud of knives, a funeral given engines. And at the center of it all, the little transport kept drifting toward the outer dark, toward somewhere, toward someone waiting. Only then did I understand the rule. Humans did not become dangerous when cornered. They became dangerous when someone smaller was standing behind them. Our linguists finally cracked the ship's internal audio. Not battle commands, not final prayers, a story. The human was speaking to his daughter. His voice was gentle now, warm, impossible. He told her not to be afraid of the noise, told her to keep the blanket over her ears, told her to remember the sound of rain on their old apartment window in New Jakarta, told her that when she woke up, there would be stars no one had named yet. He was not fighting for victory. He was not fighting for Earth. Earth was already gone. He was fighting for one frightened child asleep beneath his deck, carrying the last unbroken future of his species inside her breathing chest. And suddenly, every human act we had mocked became clear. Their stubbornness, their recklessness, their absurd refusal to quit. We had called it instability because we could not imagine love surviving scale. To us, war was math. To humans, war became personal. That was why they were terrifying. Because a species that will die for an empire can be predicted. A species that will burn the galaxy for one child cannot. The commander ordered full annihilation. Every battery, every drone, every remaining cruiser. Too late. The swarm hit us like a collapsing world. I heard hulls scream through the deck, saw blue-white arcs dance across the void as shattered human machines tore into conquered armor with mining lasers, fusion cores, and kinetic spikes ripped from wreckage. There was no formation, no doctrine, just fury with momentum. Silence vanished beneath alarms, metal thunder, and the sickening crack of atmosphere escaping into space. On the main screen, the human transport opened one final channel. The man was barely upright now. Fire climbed the walls behind him. Somewhere below, the child was still alive. I know because he smiled not with hope, but with certainty. "You wanted our surrender," he said. "This is our delay." Then he drove his ship straight into the breach point of our flagship gate array. The flash swallowed half the sky. Our jump corridor collapsed. Our fleet stranded. Our command broken. Burning debris drifted like new constellations across the corpse light of Earth. They didn't win because they were stronger. They won because one human father decided the universe would wait for his daughter to live. We found the child 6 cycles later in a hidden colony cradle beyond the Perseus Dark, guarded by coordinates only a dying parent could have sent in time. She was alive, human, frightened, precious beyond measure. The Concord signed peace within the month. Now in every academy, the old unwritten rule has become law. If humans begin evacuating children, leave the system. Because the last time one father said, "whoops" to a sleeping girl beneath his deck, half a fleet went silent.